Welcome, everybody, to episode 18 of Blood, Saint, and Beers. This week on the podcast, we have special guest Bittie, who you may know as a variety streamer over on Twitch, specializing in games like Dead by Daylight, Subnautica, Rainbow Six Siege, and does a whole host of cosplays that you should definitely check out. I'm putting this disclaimer ahead of the podcast, because unfortunately we did lose the first couple minutes, so anything after this will be from the live show. But just to get you caught up, we did our introductions, and then I basically broke down my week, going over my 36-hour stream that I did on the weekend, and how I got deathly sick from that. But yeah, just want to put this ahead so you weren't lost, and like I said, anything after this point will be from the live show. Thank you.
Did have you done an extended period stream like that before?
I've done a 24-hour stream before, but I'm kind of one of those people where it's like once I start to get tired, I need to just kind of ramble to someone the entire time. So I'm like I have to find someone that's just like willing to deal with me, kind of, in that state of like, I don't know if I'm
Your
awake or
loopiness.
not, but I'm loopy and I'm probably gonna be giggly and it's fine. Welcome to my rambles.
Yes. I feel like when you're super tired, it's like a different kind of drunk.
Yeah,
Like
it
you're just
really is.
rambly and dumb and like not you, but me. But yeah.
Mhm.
I'm like, this is like being super wasted. Like really weird. What about you, Bittie? What have you been up to? And I guess moving into our questions.
Persevering through the Resident Evil 2 series because I am a big baby when it comes to horror games. BT can attest to that one for sure. Having to deal with me like in last year and stuff like that, screaming like a banshee. But yeah, I finally finished all 4 scenarios on casual, and I'm almost done. I think I have 2. Yeah, I want to say about 20% more of the game left on hardcore for Claire A.
Oh
And then
my
I'm gonna
God.
try to finish the other 3 scenarios on hardcore. Probably gonna end up raging a lot, but it's fine.
Mhm.
Other than that, though, it's been it's busy, and also trying to get my what exists of a sleep schedule back to normal because I recently had to stay up for 30 hours helping a friend of mine really insane streams and moderate everything and handle everything. So I'm just like, I don't know what a sleep schedule is because I'm so used to being awake at really weird hours right now. Other than that, though, just enjoying playing a lot of games. And I'm looking forward to getting back into Prey next week.
Oh.
I put some serious hours and days into that to finish that game because it's very intense, but I like it.
Yeah, it's something I forgot how many areas there were in the game watching you play, and you're asking like about specific parts, like, oh, do I need to kind of do this? And it's just like, let me go look up a guide, because I've forgotten this area entirely.
Yeah.
Not having played it casually since like 2017, but yeah, you found out how mean the phantoms can be. They are not nice.
Those things suck.
Yeah, they're pretty bad, even if you know how to deal with them, which is just there's no way around it. But there are some things I mentioned too in your stream, and I don't want to necessarily give you backseating advice or anything. But
but
you're doing it wrong.
Well, the game doesn't really tell you certain things that can make your playthrough easier or more enjoyable. It's just like, all right, go explore. If you find these things, you find them. And it's something I didn't find out until like well after I finished playing. I was like, looking back, knowing what I know now, that would probably have served me off pretty well. But yeah.
But it's also like it's interesting to play it in a casual sense too, because it gives me a lot more insight and a lot more appreciation for like the speedrunning aspect of it. Like after like watching you, especially like speedrunning countless times now and being as like, fluid as you are with it. So it's just kind of like to play it in a casual sense, it's just like, man, knowing how this is like, a game that's like, when my friends speedruns and then playing catch is like, holy shit, this is really cool,
Yeah, the
That's what I
speedrun
really
for that game
appreciate.
is about 7 minutes long. It skips right to the end. It's kind of dumb.
It's actually insane.
Yeah, people are asking like, oh, or usually when people play, it's like, oh, what's the speedrun time for this, or how far would you be in it? It's like, by the time you've asked, they're already done with the run.
Pretty much.
By the time you get that far,
but your question, they're already there. Like, come again? What are you saying?
Yeah, I don't know if you plan on playing the Mooncrash DLC, but if you like kind of the general gameplay of Prey, you'll really like well, most people usually end up liking the DLC a little bit more because it kind of focuses on that instead of some of the issues you'll probably run into near the end.
Gotcha.
Well, I don't want to spoil anything, but I know Subnautica got a new. Is it a new expansion or a new game entirely?
So it's like, honestly, I don't know why it's being called a DLC, because the game itself, it's actually going to be just as big as the original Subnautica. So it's just pretty much a whole new game at this point. Just it takes place in a Arctic area of Subnautica, which a lot of people don't realize that when you finish the game, you get a glimpse of where you're going next in the Arctic area, because you come back as a whole new survivor. You're not the male character that you leave as. You come back as female, with her sister, and the company Altera is just like, let's go back to this planet because apparently there's a lot of resources and we're really greedy, and we also want to learn more about the precursors, which is one of the main story-driven stuff of the game.
So it is like a direct continuation off.
Yes.
Okay, because I'm probably speaking for Saint here, but I think it's fair to say neither of us really know Subnautica at all. I will now, because of my 36-hour stream and some stuff that happened there, I'll be playing through Subnautica here very soon, probably starting by like the end of the week and getting through it.
That's exciting.
Because it's a game not only you have told me to play, but countless people have told me to play over time. So finally getting into it, like what, for someone that doesn't know, what can you expect out of playing through Subnautica? Is it super scary? Am I going to get spooked?
Yeah, I have no idea.
So the thing with Subnautica, a lot of people, they were like, I don't know if it's scary or not, but it's like the game does a really good job on playing off of terror. It's not horrifying. Like some stuff may scare you, like Jesus Christ, I can't fucking handle this. But it's more so like it plays off of phobias, like if you're scared of the dark or the deep water, or you can't see under you, like certain areas you can see actually under your feet.
Of the
And you're
ocean.
just like, holy shit, I can't handle this. Or like you have claustrophobia. So like, tight knit caves and everything that's very close to you, you might get anxious. And obviously there's creatures and stuff as well you have to be worried about. So the biggest thing with Subnautica is that a lot of people get discouraged by one, they either get too scared, which is understandable because I did the same thing. My first 5 hours of the game, I'm pretty sure I stayed in the same beginning biome that you started in and stayed in my pod, and I just cried a lot because I didn't want to go out at night.
That'll be me. I hate the ocean.
It's actually
awful.
insane how much, like, the game is huge actually.
So is it like the map standard, or is it like kind of randomized when you start up a new game?
The only thing that's really randomized, well, semi-randomized, is where exactly the creatures will spawn. Like, they'll start in the same typical biome, but like where they start pathing is different. If they start drifting into a different biome, it's different for everyone. And resources are all RNG based. And I feel like that's like one of the biggest complaints from the speedrunners I hear about the game. They're like, oh my God, this fucking RNG is awful right now. Like, I can't get what I need, and I really need this right now. And yeah, it's just with the game itself, if you're new, a lot of people get discouraged just because of phobias. And then the game doesn't really handhold you, kind of like how Prey doesn't. It doesn't handhold you really at all. So you're kind of forced to figure it out on your own very quickly.
That's fine. I'm okay with games that do that. Like, as long as it's fair.
Yeah.
Like,
It's very
let you discover it. Don't hide things. Yeah, that's totally cool. I'm just horrified of water, which I guess is not totally not water, but like the ocean, which I guess is totally weird.
Generally, if I can't see the bottom, I don't like it. If I can't see the bottom of the water, I'm not a fan.
Usually how people are with Subnautica.
Even if I can see everything, like when I played FF7 as a kid, the emerald weapon in the ocean, like when you the first time you take your submarine and you go underneath the water, and it's just like, oh, there's nothing here, and then just emerald weapon bumps into your ship and it's a giant thing. I like threw my controller and I turned off the TV.
I don't know if you guys remember, but what got me as a kid underwater was playing Banjo-Kazooie. And you go down and you see the giant mechanical whale shark thing.
Clanker.
Yeah, that
cavern.
I mean, looking back, I'm like, that's not really that scary at all. But as a kid, that's like, oh my God. Get me. It's like, Dad, play. I don't want to play anymore. I'm over this.
Get your dad, get your older sibling, like, please take the controller. I can't handle this.
Yeah, that's.
It's like you're using a lifeline on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
And then it took me
give Dad the controller.
took me many years after that to like, all right, it's video game water. I don't really care. I can just go in here and be fine. Although Assassin's Creed Odyssey with the sharks, I didn't want to go in the water,
Oh
which
God.
is awful.
That was like 6 months ago.
Yeah, you have to dive down like 100 meters. You can't see anything when there's sharks attacking you. It's like, okay, I'm good. I'll just stay above water the whole time.
It's actually interesting. When I was playing, I recently played the early access of Subnautica Below Zero, and my community has not seen me scared of that game in about 2 years now. And so they had to deal with me like questioning a lot of stuff because, like, one, I don't know where the hell I am, and the actual Subnautica itself, I, for the most part, know where just about everything is. And Below Zero is a completely new game, so they had to deal with me getting scared quite a bit and like just backtracking, going to the surface, just like, no, I don't want to go down there. It's too dark for one. And two, I don't know if something's gonna eat me. So I don't really want to experiment yet and find out. So I have a vehicle. And so just it looks amazing so far. And I'm very much looking forward to them adding more content to it soon.
Well, I was gonna bring up the fact that like when I have watched you play Subnautica, and
Mhm.
I haven't really been able to figure out what's going on, just because I don't know the game. But you do challenge runs, or you did a challenge run that was it seemed
Yes.
pretty involved. I don't know if you want to
Yes.
bring that up
It
and
was. Oh yeah.
kind of
I'm more than happy
explain
to.
what
So
you did differently.
because I've played the game, I've beaten the game 12 times in hardcore mode. In hardcore mode, pretty much,
Jeez.
if you die, your file literally deletes itself, and sadly, you cannot recover it. So death and like drowning and things like that, it's very scary. And I'm pretty sure I give people like anxiety when they look at my oxygen levels. Like, Bittie, are you gonna go to the surface yet? Like anytime now, please.
I like that it has a true hardcore mode.
Oh yeah,
Pretty
it's
interesting.
extremely hardcore. And
Minecraft has a hardcore mode. I didn't know
it's
that.
true. Yeah. Let's I
It's like
think
if you
they had
die,
that a
that's it.
couple years
I was like,
ago.
what? Like what? Diablo? Hello?
Hello. And because of that, I never my first hardcore mod I did wasn't as intense as my most recent one. I had to build near leviathans, which a lot of people when they hear leviathans after playing Subnautica, they just assume the ones that can eat you. But leviathan pretty much just means they are the largest creatures in the sea, even if they're friendly. And so I had to kill a leviathan of each type, excluding pretty much the whales of the sea, which I call Bessies for lack of a better word, because they're just huge and they're friendly, and they usually mean good things, not bad things. And so with my most recent challenge mode, I had to find every single item in the game, which when I went through the wiki, I realized very quickly that I have to keep track of over 500 things on a Google document to mark off, from voice logs to in-game lore to things that people just don't normally pick up. They just go past it. On
Oh
top
my
of
god.
having to kill just about every deadly creature. I didn't know at the time if I could kill a certain creature that comes out of the blue, which I won't spoil.
Whoa, the
Um,
spoilers.
well, yeah. So I'm not gonna spoil that for you guys and girls when you guys decide to play it. But luckily we got confirmation that I could. And it just was super intense because I had to do so much on top of building extra bases, and the bases couldn't just be like little tiny, like, bases, like, a bed in it, like, a couple of things. No, they had to be full scale decorated bases with like it's the essentials in it to be functional. And it took me about 31 hours to do everything.
Oh wow.
Oh,
In my
damn.
normal average playthrough time, just playing it casually is like, 3 to 6 hours at most. So it's just like, this is a lot. And I had to
Yeah.
keep track of everything. And I also had to like look up a certain couple locations because I like didn't know where these things are. I'm like, I've never seen this in my life, but apparently it's in the game, so I need to go find it. And it's just very, very, very interesting because I actually got to learn some new stuff about the game as well, just doing that challenge run alone. So yeah, it's pretty intense, but well worth
It
the
does look
time.
intense. I'm just
It
watching
really
you play
is.
it from a VOD, and I'm almost already like, no. It's way too dark down there, man.
Yeah, I will say I know I give people anxiety whenever like I go to like certain areas. I'm like, I'm really sorry in advance for anyone that freaks out because one other challenge thing was I actually couldn't use any vehicles. I had to depend on a sea glide, which kind of just helps you swim faster. And I was wigging out in certain areas that have like these really deadly creatures because I am like an unofficial like bug tester for Subnautica. And I found over 30 plus bugs for their game so far that like can break your game, like getting dragged through a map by creatures,
That's nice.
Oh
things
my
not
god,
happening where they
that sounds
should,
awful.
creatures literally coming through the wall when they shouldn't and grabbing you.
Hey, your game's
And
scarier than normal. There's
yeah.
creatures
Oh,
coming out of the
oh
wall,
man. There
dragging
has
you
been
into it.
times where I'm just like, this is fine. Like, I love this game, but Jesus Christ, come on. And so, yeah, actually,
That's
I
nice.
did. I didn't know actually till I watched the Subnautica Below Zero trailer, that apparently there will be a creature that can breach land, and I'm not
Oh, good.
very very
Very good.
excited for that creature. I don't know where it comes from,
So it
how I
can
can
attack your
spawn
base,
it.
is
I
what you're saying.
They can and they can't.
Okay.
Hopefully they can't. I'm just nervous because yeah, I just don't want anything to come up. Because like normally you just go on your pad or you go on land, and you're safe. It's
Yeah,
in
it's like
below zero. Nope.
your Resident Evil safe room. Like if a
Yeah,
zombie just busted into your safe room and you're like, "No, you can't do that.
exactly. It's like you can't be doing that. This is
This is my
my
safe
space.
space." Yeah. Leave me alone.
So it was really
Breaking the
interesting.
conventions. God.
So do you
This
see
was
yourself
actually
doing another one of those challenges for Below
Oh yeah.
Zero
Oh hell
when it
yeah.
finally,
Definitely
I
will.
guess, fully releases? Yeah.
Yes. I probably will play the game on normal just to get like a feel for it all to see where everything is, and then we'll probably just dive right into hardcore after that, and then probably do a challenge mode
Nice.
right after.
Not playing
So it's just
hardcore
kind
from
of
the
yeah.
beginning? Like, what
I
kind of a
mean, I
streamer are you?
could. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna die to whatever creatures there are though, because I remember being told one thing, and I joked about this like a year ago. I'm like, I wonder if Subnautica would ever make like a Leviathan that could blend into the dark and then come after you in the dark. And I'm just like, I was told that thought was essentially made real with Below Zero. And I really regret even like putting that out into the universe
it's
because
your
I'm
fault,
just so
essentially.
scared.
You gave them the idea, is what you're trying to say.
Pretty much.
Yes.
What if they had a Leviathan that could just wipe everything off the map?
That would be insane.
Can we just throw that out there for the devs? You know, maybe if they're
Say,
if they're
Jess, are you
listening.
listening?
Yeah, let's have some like space leviathans like come from above onto your base and just
What
like
if they came out of the game and like hard
they
booted
knocked
your
on your
computer?
door.
Yeah, showed up at your
Giant
house.
leviathan just looking in your window. That'd be good.
I'd
This
just be an instant nope. I'd close all the curtains, lock all the doors, be like, I'm not leaving this house. Bye.
this was actually on for free on the Epic Store not too long ago,
Hmm.
so I would look out for that whenever it does happen again. I should have claimed it when it was there.
I'm pretty sure I spammed that so often. Like, you should really go download this and get this awesome game for free. Like, I know it's on the Epic launcher, but like, it's a really
Epic
good
Launcher.
game. You should go
Yeah,
get
Epic
it.
Launcher is turning out to be like pretty decent from what I hear
Hmm.
for like the games it's putting on there and its like content creator programs they have. They're really
Yeah.
trying to be like a Steam rival, which is pretty
Yeah,
interesting.
we talked about the Metro Exodus kind of controversy last week of that going exclusive to Epic platform, and they came out, I guess, this week and kind of clarified their content creator promotion affiliate thing, which looking at it seemed kind of low in comparison to other things, but still kind of a way to feed the community. And I mean, hopefully it rivals Steam. We can only hope. Competition's great, as we always say.
Yeah.
But still holding out for Soldier Boy and his launcher one day. The Soldier launcher.
Boy. Steam Boy, Soldier Steam, something.
Well, he hasn't been making any news lately. He's been keeping on the DL,
Well, he's working on his latest project,
mm-hmm.
which is an esports team, I believe, or something like that. So that'll be pretty dope.
An esports team for the new Titanfall BR that came out over the weekend, which kind of shocked a lot of people, actually, including myself. Didn't think it'd be real, but it is.
It looks really cool, actually. I was watching some videos and stuff of it this morning. I was just like, I used to play BRs a lot. This looks interesting.
Yeah, what are your experience? Because we can, me and Saint have talked about Black Ops 4 before. I don't know if we talked about PUBG days we used to play, but what are your experiences with BR Bitty? Were you big into them
I
or?
played
She's a
a
Fortnite pro.
lot of
Oh,
actually PUBG. I actually did not like Fortnite that much.
What?
I really just couldn't get into it. If they took credit, like if they had a mode where it's like no building, I'm like, all right, cool, sure, let's
The
go.
building is a
The
bit much, I
building is
feel.
a little too much for me, but I used to play
But
a lot PUBG and absolutely loved it.
same.
The only reason why I just stopped playing it is just because the servers are super laggy and they weren't patching it for a long time. It's just like, I'll maybe come back to this later on when things
It's
are
super
hopefully better.
janky
But
all the time.
yeah, it
Just
really.
like bleh.
I think with PUBG, that was a lot of people's experiences. After a while, it's just like, I'll just come back when it's, it's patched and fixed. And then when that actually happened, everyone's like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah,
I've
I
moved
think
on.
it took a little too long.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Then Fortnite came out.
looking back, it's like they have the new winter map out and it's kind of polished and they got new stuff, but at this point, I'm not gonna ever
Yeah, I
boot it back
can
up. It's
solidly say I do not have any interest in playing PUBG. Especially since Blackout is out, and I kind of like Blackout a little bit more than PUBG, just because it feels better. But Apex, I haven't actually seen any gameplay. I tuned into Shroud just now, and he's just sitting on the currency buying screen. See
nice.
all the coins you can buy. So it's
That's the
cool
gameplay
gameplay.
right there. You
Yep,
just buy stuff.
$90 for 10,000 coins, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it is a free to play game that came out
Yeah,
with very little announcement, and apparently they cracked what was it, 2.5 million users in the first 24
Wow.
hours. So
No wonder the servers are having connection issues and
was,
stuff. There's just so many people funneling in.
I,
yeah,
I
I got it downloaded, but I
I've,
haven't played it yet.
I've been sleeping like the entire day, so it's been hard to catch up on this kind of stuff. But from what I've seen, it seems really polished, just like Titanfall. They did hard code the like advanced movement out of the game, which is unfortunate because I think that would have kind of put its own spin on the game. But
Mm-hmm.
the gameplay and the weapons and everything seem there tight.
Yeah, I really like the movement of Titanfall 2, like the ground units. I didn't much care for the mech aspect of it all. Like I've never really gave a damn about all that, but the movement is always super fun. It's like Black Ops, but like you can wall run more, and it's just like a lot
Mm-hmm.
more floaty and free flow, I guess. But I haven't played this one yet. I might play it at some point this week. Download it overnight.
It'll be interesting to see if it can rival Fortnite at all because a lot of people, they make a good argument. Like Fortnite is obviously free to play, but the biggest thing about Fortnite that a lot of, other game companies, especially battle royales at least, is that they're constantly putting out new content and they're constantly patching things and stuff like that. They're constantly working on their game, and that's one of the main reasons why I feel like the game just does so well, despite it obviously being really appealing to kids. Because let's be honest
Hmm.
here, raise your hand who played RuneScape back when it was free and you begged your parents for a membership because it was a free game, so you played it.
Yeah, it's
So it's kind of like the new RuneScape of our generations, and it's like I would love to see Apex do really well because it has a lot going on for it. It's just like, as long as they actively update the game, and they actually put out content, fix any bugs really fast, like they're gonna have a very successful game.
yeah, and there's something I heard in an H3 video one time. He's like, anytime something blows up, there's always one answer, and that's kids. But
Yeah.
really, it's just people who have a lot of time, which are usually younger
Mm-hmm.
people. So it's like, yeah, Fortnite has like that decent gameplay, but it's also like colorful and cartoony, and that's always
Exactly.
gonna
It's very
appeal
appealing.
to someone who has a lot of time and likes that colorful stuff. But
It's got wacky
yeah, it's
dances that they stole from
yeah,
people and
yeah,
I
it's
can suit
like,
over.
but yeah, it's another BR, and you got BRs that have been coming out forever. You had Realm Royale and like Hunt Showdown and that 180s looking one. And it's just like there's a lot of BRs that pop up real quick, and
Mm.
then you totally
Yeah.
forgot they ever existed.
Rapture
So
Rejects was another one that
oh
popped up for
yeah,
like a
Yeah,
week and it went
yeah,
away.
wherever it was.
yeah. There's just so many of those that come up. And I'm just like, is this just another one of those? Like, I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. I don't even know how Blackout's doing. I guess it's doing pretty well, but
Yeah, I
I
keep
don't
seeing
know.
Call of Duty put out patch notes. I know if I get back into it, I'm there for a while, so I'm still hesitant to get back on that train.
I've binged pretty hard. I need to take a
Mhm.
long break before playing them. I'm kind of burnt out on BRs in general, personally.
But
But
I think
that's just me.
the biggest thing with this is just how much they update it and
Mm-hmm.
what kind of updates they do. Because like, me and Bittie played last year a
Yeah.
lot, and it's like it seemed like they were gonna stick with it and update. And they've done some patches, but it's in the past month and a half, there's
no major content right
yeah,
now
there's no
being
new
pushed out.
characters, there's no new maps. They've kind of tweaked stuff, but other than that, it's like, well, you need to start adding stuff pretty quickly, or they're just gonna go back to Dead by Daylight or move on to a new game that pops up, which is kind of unfortunate because it was really fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's
It's definitely a fun party game if you have like a group of 6 people getting together, and it's like, yeah, sure, let's have a good time, be goofy, what have you. But hopefully, the developers actually push something out. It's like, oh yeah, 2019 we will have new maps and new survivors and a perk
Mhm.
system and stuff. It's like, my personal opinion, the perks and everything that you could work towards should be in the game like immediately, so people have something to progress towards, whether it's cosmetics, you name it, something that's earning, like just it entices people to keep playing your game.
yeah,
It's
because
That's what it's
essentially
all
what's
about.
best.
as of right now, it's basically just you're playing to either have fun or get better. And it's like you can only get so much better, and you can only have so much fun. You
Mm-hmm.
kind of need something. But every time I stream that game or played it, people were just like, is this worth getting? I was like, if you have like 5 friends, get it. Otherwise, just wait.
Exactly.
It seems like a
Yeah.
lot of people are waiting, and it's just gonna, unfortunately, probably die down.
Yeah.
Just sad.
More. It's the way it goes. The way
Yeah.
it goes. So I had some questions for our guest Bittie. I could
Whoa.
just jump right in. Yeah.
Well,
All for you.
let me bring up one thing to scratch off our weekly bingo.
Sure.
Fallout 76 had some more drama
Oh, good.
Oh, really?
coming
I
out
like talking
Shocking.
about
last
that.
week, like right after our podcast when we talked about it. Basically, they patched the game, and instead of fixing things, it reverted things to previous bugs. So like very heavy bobby pins came back, and a whole lot of bugs basically just got reintroduced to the game, and the people playing were just not happy about it, and they started deleting posts on Reddit and other forums,
Oh,
and
good.
the whole community was just like, what are you doing? I don't even,
People are still playing that?
yeah, apparently.
My God. It's amazing.
There's still some community out there for Fallout 76, so
Yeah. Well, you know what? More power to them. I'm glad they're liking it.
Yeah, I mean if you like something,
But
power
that's
to you.
hilarious.
It's just, yeah. I don't know how you can stick with that
drama.
game after so many missteps.
The drama will never stop. Oh, Google says it's available on PC for $2.59.
$2.59.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't
Wow.
know.
Uh,
Sure, maybe.
They were. It also came out that I think it was in Germany. They were giving away copies of Fallout 76 if you bought an Xbox controller for like $20.
Take
It's
it,
like,
please.
yeah, they were just trying to get rid of copies of the game. They just
Oh,
they
you
couldn't
hate to
sell
see
it. So, but yeah,
It's very unfortunate.
that's
There
all
you
I
go.
have kind of for news. If you want to hit those questions off, we can learn all there is to
Sure.
know about Bittie. And if people in
Yeah, so
chat have
first
any
off-
questions that they're burning to ask, feel free to put those in. Maybe we'll pick a few.
Hot questions. Hear your hot takes. Well, first off, just want to know how you found Twitch and decided to start streaming in your life.
So I actually found Twitch back when it was Justin TV,
Ooh,
a little over 8
an
years
old
ago
girl.
now. And
Back in the day.
originally it was I played World of Warcraft. I don't really play it much anymore.
Mhm.
But yeah, I
Same.
was watching a streamer on there. I think his name was Ollie or something like that. Forgive me if I forgot. But it's just like, okay, he's a WoW streamer, plays our games too. Might as well check this out. It's like it's interesting to watch someone play games. Like, I've always watched my brothers play like Counter-Strike, things like that. So, it's very appealing to me, like, to see that, and just kind of stuck around with it. So it's pretty much how I initially found Twitch, was just through World of Warcraft rating and stuff like that, and just was like, this is really cool. I wonder if, like, it'll take off and stuff like that. ended up finding a couple of the Twitch OGs, like big names out there like Carnage, for instance. It's been on the platform, I feel like, for God, almost 10 years now. But yeah, pretty much how I initially found Twitch was through World of Warcraft.
So did you immediately go into streaming, or is that something at a later
No.
point you're like, oh, maybe I should
Yeah.
start doing this myself?
So when I started streaming, that was about 2 years ago now. I started in November of 2016. And so it kind of was like at the time before I actually was streamer, I was actually a nurse. And I decided because after my grandfather unfortunately passed, I was like, all right, well, um, I need to be home to kind of help take care of my dad with his health issues. And I also, just need a bit of an easier job at the moment. And, figured I would do, part time nursing and then see how streaming goes. And I was very, very lucky and very, very fortunate that streaming took off very, very well for me
That's
because
great.
kind of from the get go, it's like, you know what, like I'm not gonna try to do this as a job. I just want have fun with it and everything. And I still do, of course. I don't really treat it exactly like a job, except for having a strict schedule in terms of making sure I'm streaming 6 out of 7 days a week, but just trying to, be disciplined about it. But yeah, so pretty much I from the beginning I was like, you know what, I want to make this so I can see people, meet friends, stuff like that, because I actually live nowhere near any of my real life friends. I live maybe 4 hours away. So when I do see them, it's a bit like a commute. Like, all right,
It's the
this
whole
is a
thing.
bit of a drive. It's been much. And it's I've always had a passion for video games, which funnily enough, BT, my first ever video game I played on was actually Doom on a floppy disk,
Oh
which
my
I
Nice.
still
god.
have. So that's why it's whenever I see you say play Doom, I'm like that holds a
Hell
special
yeah.
spot in my heart because it's my introduction to video games, way back then. And yeah, so it's just I've always enjoyed video games despite not being the best at them. I was just we'll see if we can do something with this. So I just,
That's
focused on my community and growing a family community more than just oh yeah, I'm the best at this game. It's no, I am admittedly very derpy and I'm very honest about it.
that actually covers my next question. I was gonna ask so you're 112 years old according to your Twitch bio.
Yes.
And I was gonna ask how long have you spent playing video games or such,
Very
but that
long
that
time.
answers my question.
100 years.
Yeah,
So
112 or so years.
it's actually funny. So the 112 years thing is actually a semi meme and also a riddle because I get asked so often. People are like, you sound like you're 15 or younger. It's I'm very short and small, so I have a very small voice. So I just thought it'd be funny to take my age and convert it into a different way to have your age. And some
Get on a
people figure it
calculator.
out, and when they do, they're like, "Holy shit, that's actually insane. I would never
Mm.
guess that." And when they do, don't figure it out, then they get frustrated. But it's I don't mind if people know my age. It's more so it's just funny to me to have people try to figure it out.
And then you can say 112, by the way,
112 pretty much.
instead of 12, by the way. Yeah,
It's actually just
that's
times
pretty
it by
good.
10. That's the code. She's over 1,000 years old,
Nice.
really.
She's actually
Got it. Got it. You're like a deity type creature.
yes.
So, what's it like being like full-time streamer? I know BT does full-time, but you said that you work pretty much every day on a strict
Yeah.
schedule. What's it like just do you feel like you have to constantly be on all the time?
Sometimes I know my days off on Mondays, I feel really bad for people because I know some people on their days off, I gotta take care of emails and everything. I'm just completely shut out. I'm like, don't talk to
Just
me.
laying in
This
bed
is my
veging.
recovery day. I've been talking all week. My throat hurts. I'm sorry, you know.
Mhm.
And so with being full time, it's really interesting because I went from being a nurse for gosh, I wish how many years. I want to say at least 5 to 6 years. So I was very used to
100 years.
having a really hectic and really busy work ethic, just being constantly busy, constantly working, very little downtime. And so though I try to not be a workaholic, there's times where I am where I'm just busy, taking care of community stuff, working on other things for stream, planning stuff for the future. trying to like, figure out like what could we stream this week that's different and like a new horror game or something. I'm probably gonna break my mouse too, but it's fine. I actually have
What?
done that twice now.
Why are you breaking your mouse?
Well, just to
I
interject,
throw it.
oh,
I have I have an issue.
Get a wired mouse. Do you have a wireless mouse?
I have a wired mouse, but it still goes
Well,
flying.
get some tape and then just tape the wire down so anytime you throw it, just lands.
just to interject on that note,
Go ahead.
for anyone that watched the podcast last week when we had Cat Link on, after the podcast ended, we were still talking in Discord, and she completely destroyed her keyboard.
Yeah.
Which we're really sad we didn't
Still
get it on like recorded all, but it was
So sad.
yeah, she got up to throw something away, I think, and she just spilled her drink all over her keyboard, and it started freaking out, and her control button was going off, just spamming everything. It
I felt
was
so bad, like it was our fault, but it wasn't.
we were just sitting there watching, like we don't know what to do. It's like
We were like, oh my god, unplug it. Oh
yeah.
Jesus.
It's like, do you have any rice? Do you have a hair dryer? It's like, but luckily she had another keyboard. I think she's gotten that situation resolved now, but a little behind the
I have a
scenes.
spare mouse.
You just
in
have like
case.
a box full of mice, just like
Pretty much, yeah.
alright.
You know what's funny though? If I know the game's gonna scare me a lot, I just put like a $20 mouse on instead of like my actual gaming mouse.
That's
I'm like, this is
insane.
fine. It can be sacrificed.
No,
It's
there's
okay.
4 mice. What kind of mice do you have?
Currently I'm using actually an MMO mouse because I've yet to replace
Okay,
it.
you can destroy that one.
Yeah. I don't actually
Yeah.
play MMOs much anymore, but it's
Yeah, I have one right over here too, but I never used it because I stopped playing WoW in like whatever the second last expansion was, because it's just a different type of game. Dang.
You need to get
Why
one
you
of those.
throw your mice when you're scared? I feel like
just
you would break stuff when you're angry, not scared.
Yeah, I don't really get angry though. That's the thing. I'm just like I get like like I don't know. I feel like I get pouty and like
Oh my God.
ragey, but like I don't like full on get angry and salty. People
Gotcha.
just like they're just like
Okay.
minor like outbursts, and then I'm like calm.
You just got to get it out real quick.
Pretty much, just like God damn
Yeah.
it. Okay, hi guys.
It's like spending your meter in Street Fighter.
Pretty much.
You do your special and then you're good. Yeah.
At least it's not like an
So-
X-ray from Mortal Kombat. You snap your wrist or something.
Oh yeah, you break somebody's spine. Yeah. So I noticed you play a lot of Dead by Daylight. So I have a
Yes.
very relevant question. What cartoon character from your childhood would you make a slasher villain?
What?
Hmm.
What cartoon character would you make a slasher villain?
Yes.
I gotta think about that. I'm like
Mine-
thinking, like my immediate thought for some reason goes straight to Courage the Cowardly Dog with that stupid cat creature.
Oh, who runs the motel
Yeah.
or whatever? Oh my God. with all
There's
the
so many
spiders.
things in Courage that could be slasher
Oh,
villains.
yeah,
I was
basically.
like,
Like every
just for some
villain.
reason,
Yeah.
my mind just goes straight to Courage the Cowardly Dog. There's so
King
many
Ramses.
very
I was thinking of Fred.
interesting creatures.
I was gonna say the hash slinging slasher.
The Ashley slasher.
Hashling Slasher, yeah, would be
The
good
hash
too.
bringing, the mash singing. Yeah.
My
the
my thought
question.
goes to Blue from Blue's Clues, just because I think it'd be hilarious.
Ooh. Like he leaves like blood trails.
Just like a
or he
paw
has
print
some
on the body. Just
bloody
Oh,
paw
gosh.
prints. He's like all
like
all
they have
freaked
ransom letters. It's like, we just found a letter.
Speaking of childhood and stuff, I actually saw this the other day, actually on Twitter. For anyone, I'm sure y'all read them. The Scariest Stories to Tell in the Dark books or whatever. Apparently, it's being made into a movie.
Yep.
And
By
I'm quite
Guillermo del Toro.
excited, but yeah, I'm quite nervous, but excited, but nervous because I loved
Oh.
reading those books as a child. But like, man, to see them be brought to life is a whole new.
Did you see the like poster they put out for it as well?
Yes.
It is very creepy of one of the stories. I
Mhm.
can't think of the guy's name, but it's a very creepy story about like a scarecrow that kids abuse and beat up. And it like
Yep.
takes one of them in the end, and if that's what the shows or the movie's gonna look like, it's It'd be
It's
pretty
going
good.
to be insane.
I've
In a really
never
good
heard
way.
of
Never heard of Scary Stories?
No.
I just
Is it
always like
Really?
Goosebumps?
I always tried to read it, but then I saw the pictures when I flipped the pages. I was like, nope, I can't do it. These pictures are creepy.
Because I just read the pictures.
Yeah. There's like one story, I believe it was in there. Maybe it's not making it up, but the girl with the black ribbon around her neck, the guy who constantly
that
wants to take it off.
one.
I'm not gonna spoil it, but
Mm.
that was one of my favorites in there.
I think mine was the toad one.
These all look creepy. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's some pretty creepy stuff.
This was for kids?
It's supposed to
Yeah.
be.
Fucked up.
No, sir, I was checking those books out when I was like in second grade and
That
reading them.
explains everything. Okay. All right. So back to Dead by Daylight.
Yeah.
Um, I was just looking through some of your past broadcasts. Is that like one of
Mhm.
the games that kind of you started out on Twitch with
Yeah.
in a big way?
So I originally started off with Dead by Daylight. I originally played it during the alpha and beta. I was like, I like this. This is interesting. And I know when I started streaming, like, I guess I could stream this alongside, other games I like play, like BioShock, for instance, and just see how things go. And then for actually a long time, I went from playing Dead by Daylight to just streaming World of Warcraft mainly back during the former expansion of this current one about 2 years ago. And then when I kind of got tired of the game, I was just like, all right, I'm running out of things to do. I guess we'll just go back to Dead by Daylight. And I kind of am glad I did because it actually introduced me to a lot of the people I know now. And I'm
Hey.
very grateful for that because it's like, Bounce and Jimmy, like, being BT, and then being you, Saint, and so on. So Dead by Daylight's definitely done a lot of positive for me, not only streaming wise, but also for meeting people as well. Um, I also did a couple cosplays actually from the game too, which I actually got a signed art print from the art department of the game
What? That's
for
awesome.
being a finalist in their cosplay competition, which was really
Yeah, I
cool.
saw your
Nice.
Freddy Krueger cosplay at
Yes,
some place. That was dope.
thank
Looks so good.
you. I was really
So
tired, so I didn't feel like doing all the burn makeup and everything. I was like, this is good enough. Like, well,
you're
I can
like,
do it all, but
yeah.
I'm also just a little tired. It's like 2 hours of makeup application.
Doing like good cosplay is a lot of work
It
because
really is.
once you get in that perfectionist mindset, you gotta stop at some point. But it's so
Yeah.
hard.
So there's a lot
Pretty
of little
much.
details you can be like, well,
Oh yeah,
how many people are really going to care? How many people are actually going to notice? But like to you, it's like, I'm going to notice this.
you
It's just-
know it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the hardest part.
It's like
So
me
when it
doing
comes-
any type of graphic design. I'm just like, no one's really going to care that this is like 2 pixels further to the left, but I care because it's going to bug me every time I look at it.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, that's another 3 hours worth of work.
it's the same when I edit videos for YouTube. I'm just like, nope, the cut here is not exactly where it needs to be. I gotta inch it ever so slightly more. So when it comes to like, I know you played Dead by Daylight and really like it. When it comes to asymmetrical kind of teams, like 1v4 or anything
Mhm.
like that, do you like any other games like Evolve or
Yeah,
Friday
actually,
the
that's how
13th?
I initially was introduced to the whole asymmetrical thing, was actually Evolve itself, which I really wish the game didn't die because I really loved playing it. But yeah, that's
Mhm.
right. I initially got into the whole asymmetrical, sort of style, and then I fell in love with Dead by Daylight, and I also played Friday the 13th for a very long time. Um, I kind of stopped playing it after a while when unfortunately the community got super, super toxic. I'm just like,
Really?
I'm good, I love
Mhm.
this game, but I'll play it with a full group of people instead of, like, just with random people I don't know.
Randos.
And I
Yeah.
would kind of go out of my way to kind of make sure that I had a full group every time of, like, whether it's viewers, community members, friends, you name it, just because it was a lot more enjoyable that way. It kind of just turned into another party game per se.
Mm-hmm.
I
Do
think
you
that's
like the
what
Friday the 13th movies? Oh,
I
sorry.
do.
we can go about
Yeah.
that and we'll get back to it. But have you
Word.
seen all of the Friday 13th movies or just
Yes.
a handful? Because there's some not so good ones in there.
We watched one at AGDQ. It was what was it? Freddy's.
No, it was Jason Goes to Hell.
Jason Goes to Hell. That's the one. And Freddy is the thumbnail. Like Freddy's hand is the thumbnail for the movie, but that's actually the very end, and Freddy's not even in the movie. Which
Well,
is
then.
very strange. But we watched that, and half the room fell asleep watching that movie.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but I've seen a few of them.
I mean, when
What's
it
your favorite
starts off with the FBI blowing up Jason,
Jason, yeah.
like
And then
you can't really top
Jason
that. It's like that's where the movie should
he a
end.
worm? Is he a little worm alien? Like, what's up with that?
Hard to say. I would have to say the original is probably still my favorite in terms of the Friday 13 series. Like just,
The old lady,
yeah.
crazy mom.
Definitely probably my favorite so far still.
Dude, that's like my favorite fight scene of like a horror movie is the
Yeah.
awkward mom versus that one girl. It's just like weird 70s like physical encounter. It's just so cheesy, so delightfully cheesy. Well,
I just wanted to go
I'm
back
out of
about the toxic community stuff. It's like, at least from my perspective, it's like that's what kept me away from those games and streaming them in particular, because it's like I didn't have that group of friends necessarily, or that viewer base that wanted to play those games. So it's like, well, I can play it in my own time, but I'm not going to play it on stream and connect with people because I just know it's going to end up being toxic. Which like that's kind of why I jumped in the last year, because you and Maxie and your communities were playing it, and you had full lobbies. Like, okay, well, if that's there, I'll play it. So I do enjoy those games. It's just they're so prone to toxicity that
they really are.
You have to be careful of how you balance things, otherwise it can go wrong. Because there's people I follow on like Twitter and stuff that only play those games, only stream those games. They post so much stuff about like getting harassment or death threats, and it's like, geez, it's not worth it.
I wonder what it is about those types of games specifically.
It's just like the competitive toxicities and everything,
and anything like that.
It's just the competitive nature of it, and having that asymmetrical balance of like, oh, I'm a killer main, but all these survivors are complaining the killers are too easy when they're not, and it's like the opposite of that, and people have their own opinions, and it's one of those things where it's really hard to balance those anyways. And you'll have people on either side like, oh, this needs to be patched and fixed. It's like, well, that's fine to someone else, and it creates a lot of controversy, I guess. But yeah, I was sad to see Evolve die as well. Although that game was completely unbalanced, so I'm not too surprised.
It really was. It was actually insanely unbalanced, but it was a nice game to play. I only played Medic, admittedly. I think
it was like
it whenever I did.
I don't remember the class names, but it wasn't like the Assault. It was or the Hunter. There's like a technician, I guess, in there. Yeah, it was like a robot guy. He was pretty good.
Yeah, that was Bucket.
Yeah, Bucket. That was who I played.
It's fantastic.
And I hated playing the monster in that game. I felt so paranoid all the time. I was like, oh, they're gonna find me. Oh, they're gonna find me.
Yeah, Evolve was rough for me in that regard. Like I only played the beta. I didn't get when it came out, but it was constantly like, if they're on your tail, like you just gotta keep running as a monster. I was like, this is awful. But then if you get going, it's just like, oh, I'm gonna steamroll this team real quick.
Or if they just can't locate you and you're just free farming, it's like, yeah, I'm just gonna curve stomp you
like,
in
all right,
like
I'll
5
just
minutes.
get to level 3 and that'll be fun for me.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of different than the asymmetrical games we have now, where the person by themselves are pretty much like immune. Sort of, they can be like stunned or harmed, but you're not really tracking down the killer to take him out. It's kind of the opposite of how it was then, which kind of works out better. But you don't necessarily have that pressure as the killer. Like, oh, I'm in a tense situation. It's like, all right, I just didn't play super well this time.
I don't have questions.
You don't have any questions?
I don't have any questions. Period. Oh wait, you like BioShock? That's my question.
So do you like things? I don't know.
All right. What's your favorite BioShock?
Probably the original still. If I had to like rate them in order, it'd probably be BioShock and then BioShock Infinite, then BioShock 2. I obviously like the DLCs, but that's generally the order I prefer them in.
Yeah, it's as someone who plays all 3 games like quite often, the wide variety of people who like one over the other for a certain reason, it's just like you hear both sides and it's like, I can see that, you know, you can have that opinion, but at the end of the day, it's like I'm kind of over answering that question.
Yeah, it's
Just,
understandable.
and then, you know, some people love Infinite's story and the twist at the end. Some people hate it, and it's just like, it is what it is. It definitely made a statement.
I think the biggest thing for me with Infinite is just the game itself is obviously beautiful. They did it very, very well, like, just amazing job at capturing the game itself. And then obviously it becomes, essentially the Rapture version of Columbia.
Mhm.
But it's just the story was really well done. I think the at least to me, the combat system is definitely a lot more improved than in like, Bioshock 1 and 2. It's a little bit more fleshed out, which I personally really enjoyed. Wasn't as clunky feeling. That was like one of the big things for me. It's just like it's a lot more fleshed out. And I really hope one day that they make another Bioshock because I love that series a lot.
I mean, it's been a rumor for a while that they're working on another one, but every time they're like, "Oh, is it coming now?" And it's like, no, it's something completely different. The last time it was Obsidian's gonna make it, and now they're making Outer Worlds or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I feel like if we hear about something, it's gonna be a mobile game. Unfortunately,
Yeah,
at this point.
That's what I'm nervous about too.
Which they actually had Bioshock on iOS for a while before they pulled
Really?
it. Yeah, it was
Wow.
called Bio, and then the iOS part of Bioshock was capitalized Shock. It was
Of course.
strange. I was actually going to try to speedrun it for a while, but when I got around to it, they had pulled it by that point. So they're not any strangers to mobile platforms, I guess. And I feel like, I mean, you haven't really got too far into Prey, but Prey for me kind of captures the spirit. It's like a spiritual successor to it, although it's more System Shock than Bioshock.
Yeah, see, it feels like more like System Shock, and it's been obviously a couple years since I played System Shock, but it feels very similar.
Yeah, I mean, it takes that, and there's other games kind of coming out. You know, there's System Shock Remake and System Shock 3 in the works. I feel like we're in a place where games can take that formula and do their own thing with it. We don't necessarily need a Bioshock 4.
Yeah.
And definitely not a Bioshock 4 set in space.
Yeah, see, I really don't know
Space
where
Shock.
they would even do another Bioshock if they did one. We've had it in the sky, we've had it under the sea, obviously. We could do it on land, but I feel like that just people would be like a little bit disappointed. Like, really?
The GeoShock.
Yeah, if you take it to another planet, then you just have like a typical RPG, and it's
Yeah. They've had to get really creative with it.
I've always said it's like I basically wanted Burial at Sea to be a full-fledged game where you see more of Rapture before the downfall. And the story takes place that, which Burial at Sea kind of did. I just wish it was better.
It was very short. That's what I didn't like about Burial at Sea. It's just it was very short-lived. I kind of wish it gave the player a bit more like an option. Like you can choose to go explore. You don't have to, but if you want to, it's an option. That way you can see Rapture in its entirety. Because I know when the first time I played Bioshock, I was like, I want to know what this place looked like before it went to fucking ruins. Like, man, that would be amazing to see. And I
That'd
know
be
I
pretty
wasn't
dope,
alone with
actually.
that. And so it's just like, even if it's just like, just you can casually explore if you want to. You don't have to do what you want, but just it would be really nice to see if they ever did something like that.
Yeah,
So I was looking.
they
Oh, go ahead.
just talked about this one last time. Is Bioshock 1 and 2 are very not necessarily open world, but they're open for exploration. You can kind of go to optional areas and check stuff. Infinite is much more of a corridor shooter where you can explore, but there's not a whole lot there.
Yeah, that was one of my
can't really
biggest
backtrack at all.
things.
It's unfortunate. Now that it's not developed by Irrational Studios, it goes back to 2K. It could go back to that Bioshock 2 kind of gameplay, which I think the gameplay in 2 is the best. The story is obviously not there. It's not great, but if they do go back to Bioshock 4, I hope it's more exploration encouraged. But only time will tell if that ever comes out. Do you have a question, Saint?
Yeah. I was actually looking at some of your cosplay pictures on Instagram, and you have some really awesome Resident Evil and Silent Hill stuff. So has cosplaying always been something you just do for fun, or is there like a local
Yeah.
convention that you like to go to where you like plan a certain like build, and do you have a build coming up maybe that you're working on?
I have a couple plans coming up soon, which I've yet to reveal. I will soon though. Um, but I originally got into like costume making initially when I was younger because I actually had to take drama class. It was like a forced requirement in school. And like my teacher kind of realized like very quickly like I have really bad like stage fright and I don't handle like, being like, on the spot like in front of like people like that, like, talking publicly, like, it's a bit
How
different than
ironic
streaming
now.
and stuff. Oh, yeah, it's completely different now, and so, thankfully, I already had, some sewing skills and stuff like that thanks to my grandmother, and I used to be in
Oh.
ballet, so I had to get kind of used to, like, having to customize my costumes and things like that, and so my grandmother, like, helped me out with, like, learning a lot of the skills, and, so pretty much, when it came to like, cosplay, it's just like, I've always like, been one to like kind of dress up and everything. Even as a kid, I actually have like pictures of me when I was like 3 or 4 years old, like wearing like Halloween costumes in July because I just love dressing up. And so, um, with cosplay and everything, it's just like, I am always inspired by these characters. I've always especially like loved like the little sisters of BioShock. I was just like, man, like their character models are insanely amazing. Like I would love to make their dress one day. Even like, just make their atom syringe just have like a prop, just on my wall or something. And which mind you, can I just say that thing was a pain in the ass to make? Oh my gosh.
This giant
Locating
syringe
all the
thing.
parts for it.
Oh my
Um,
god.
oh man, that was rough.
It looks amazing though.
Thank you.
Oh my
You know,
god.
the biggest and hardest thing to find was just, like, the gas pump handle because I was just, like, very specific about it. It's like, "I
Yeah.
want this to look as accurate as I can to the
What'd you
in-game
make that out
model."
of?
It's a gas pump handle, PVC pipe, polymer clay, and like like a little like tube thing at the like for like the needle, which I actually had to sand down because it was actually sharp enough to accidentally cut you. And so I was like, oh shit, like I don't want to like actually hurt
A little
someone with
too
this.
realistic.
Let me just take the time to sand this
Tragic.
thing real
Gonna have a
fast. It's
tragic accident
fine.
with that thing.
Pretty much. And so yeah, I remember when I was looking at the Huntress and Dead by Daylight Friends, I was like, that would actually be a really interesting cosplay to try to make. And took me about a month to make the outfit itself because I wasn't exactly sure like how I wanted to make it look, how to make it look accurate to her, but still be like wearable, like, in everyday life without like, being uncomfortable and like, having all this extra stuff on. And so I was actually very fortunate to work with another graphic artist or cosplay artist rather that makes FX artwork, and he actually made me my axe and my hatchet and my mask so far for that stuff. And they're all like they look heavy, but they're actually like a pound, like barely. They're all 3D printed and very
Hmm.
easy to move around. Just they're just huge compared
Yeah.
to me.
That's surprising
and
because they look, like, really
yeah,
hefty and good.
yes. I was actually really confused when he handed them to him, like, "Oh my god, these are actually, like, really light. What the hell?" I'm, like, expecting, like, have to, like, struggle to carry these inside. It's more just, like, the sheer size of them, which is a bit over cumbersome for me. I'm very short. Um
Mhm.
but yeah, cosplay is just, something I've always been interested in, especially as a kid and having, the creative freedom and the ability to kind of work on them more and also just improve on them as well is something I'm really enjoying because I actually just finished recently, I finished sewing the dress and stuff, final details for Lisa Garland, the red nurse from the Silent Hill series. So that's something I'm doing soon.
Ooh.
And I'll also be doing another Dead by Daylight killer play as well.
Any can we get a hint on what that is, or is it
Yes.
a surprise?
Um, there's a killer called Legion in Dead by Daylight, but I'm going to be doing one of the variations of Legion, which is Susie, and she has like teal hair. A very, very interesting mask, which I'm almost done making. I've had to modify it a couple times because one of the things like, yes, I want to look accurate, but I also want to be able to see out of like, the mask I'm wearing that's pretty much covering my entire face, just so
Yeah.
I can
It's a little
walk
important.
around and not have some
As
like, have to hold someone's hand like I can't see
as you
because
see through them.
it's a
Oh,
bit
they're
rough,
little tiny, tiny holes in the eyes, I see.
Yeah, they're very faint. So I've been like adjusting it so it looks accurate, but it's still comfortable for me to wear without like, having to worry too much.
So do you, like, just do it for the fun of it, or
Just
do
for
you
fun mostly.
Okay.
I know if I future cons I'm going to like I wanted to bring my Huntress cosplay to TwitchCon of last year, but they had a
Just
very
wear it
strict
around.
rule of no 3D printed weapons like at all.
What?
So my stuff's 3D printed and it's just like though
Could you have other weapons? It just kind of be 3D printed, or is it just like no weapons?
Could you have
just
reed
no
axes?
Yeah.
like you could have like wooden like
Huh.
guns or like wooden swords is like that or paper mache, but anything that was 3D printed apparently was just not allowed. They're very strict about it. And I also contacted like Twitch about it like 4 or 5 times and I got mixed answers. So I was like, you know what, I don't want to risk my stuff getting confiscated, so I'm just
Yeah.
gonna leave it at home, maybe next time. um Real weapons were also banned too, I believe as well. Like they're very like
I would hope
they
so.
were strict, but like, not strict at the same time. It's just, I just didn't want to like, have my stuff be taken away. Um, and so it's just like, all right, maybe next time. It's actually interesting meeting the developers of Dead by Daylight too, because I met McLean, which is one of the head devs and community managers, and I was like, hey, I did a cosplay of one of your killers. So he's like, you're so tiny, but like in your picture, like you're holding like your weapon or anything, which I'm actually holding them wrong purposely. Like you're supposed to have the broad axe on your right side, not your left side. But it's like I'm short, so I have to make an optical illusion that I'm taller and bigger than I am by like, adjusting how I'm holding these things.
He's got to stand on a
That
box like
axe
Tom Cruise does,
Pretty
and you're good.
much.
Yeah. That axe is as big as you.
It really is. It's
It's
insane.
impressive.
Well, and I know there's one cosplay in particular that you're actually incentivizing your stream to possibly get back.
Oh
And
yeah, I
Taylor
love
and
it
chat
so much.
wants me to ask you
Oh,
about it. But what is the origin of your Adam cosplay? If you want
so
to bring that
Adam, my community very fortunately to help me break some serious sub goals. Thanks to them, we were able to push for some seriously high sub points, which I honestly never expected. It was a gigantic community effort, which we prepared for like weeks in advance. I was like, what kind of incentives do you want to see? And people are like, we want to see you do a gender bender cosplay. And I'm like, what? Like, we want to see you look like a dude. I'm like, okay, like, sure. And
That's what my
Whatever
stream
you
so
tells me all the time. They're like, we want to see you look like a dude. I'm like, okay.
and so I sat there, I'm like, I could either go buy a fake beard or I can just paint this on myself. And like, I took some inspiration from another streamer who actually apparently did something similar, which I feel like this is why my community was like, we want to see you look like a dude because we saw so and so's girlfriend and her boyfriend swap roles pretty much and look like each other. And so I ended up like having to look like a super serious, like hipster, like, looking guy, which mind you, nothing wrong with that. It's just I just
Wow,
felt so
hipster shaming.
dorky. I felt so dorky. And it was just hilarious because it's like I had people come into my stream because like, you see the thumbnail if you have your cam on. It's like, oh, like, this person's cam on, cool. But people came and like, oh, so I saw your thumbnail. I was like, "Oh, cute dude." And then I hear your voice and I realize you're a chick. So it's just like, God damn it.
Oh, that's
And
a
so
cute dude.
it was
Look at
very
that.
interesting. So it's just like a sub goal incentive fulfillment. And people have been asking me for a couple months since, like, when we gonna see Adam again? And it's like, I may or may not have done Adam again recently for a special birthday video for one of my friends, which she'll be seeing soon. I'm not gonna name who it is, but um I know she's gonna lose her mind because she loves that cosplay so much, and, it's just, like, a little, like, fun incentive for them to do if they want to. They don't have to. I'll probably bring back Adam eventually. I was actually thinking about playing BioShock Infinite as Booker, um
Oh.
one day. So doing like a whole spin on that. And I've also had people ask me, when do you do Leon
Yeah,
from
Leon
Resident
Kennedy.
Evil? I'm like, well, I could do that because I actually did recently make I actually do make cosplays for other people as well. At least like
Ooh,
if they're simple, like if they're like extravagant, like into like
like the Dead
some
by
like
Daylight stuff.
World of Warcraft, like tiered armor, like super like plated
Yeah, give me
looking,
full judgment.
metallic, and takes exactly like Judgment. Oh god, that took me months to make. Like
That
I could
takes
do
so long.
it. It would take some time, to
Every
do
single
it,
piece would
but
have to be like custom crafted.
exactly, and like I'd have to know like exact measurements and everything, and so um with like I do like cosplays for other people as well, which is super super exciting. I actually did make Leon's cosplay for a friend of mine for his stream, which was really cool to see. Because like one of the things with like cosplays, well, it's like it's always awesome seeing people's like reaction to like seeing like a character be brought to life.
Yeah,
Everyone's just like,
it's so
holy
cool.
shit, like
That's why
it's
I love
so and
going to
so
Dragon Con.
playing,
Oh, it's so
these
awesome.
characters. Oh, Dragon Con's insane. I love it.
hmm
I
Dragon
always
Con
wanted to
has
go.
gotten so big. Like I've gone since it's in Georgia and I'm right next to
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta. I've gone since I was a kid, pretty much.
Yeah.
And it used to be a lot smaller. Now it's like massive. Like it already used to be the biggest convention for like sci-fi fantasy in the world, and
Yes.
now it's just like it's so many people. Like so I don't go as much, but it's
Yeah.
still fun to go at least a day just to like
Of course.
see people's cosplay and like walk around and just have a good time, even though get a little claustrophobic. So how much would you charge if I commissioned you for a Jar Jar cosplay?
Um, Probably like less than $200.
That's a bargain. You mean Jar
Mm-hmm.
Jar for
All
life?
right,
200 bucks?
I'll be in contact. You could probably do Adam for like do like a manly Mondays, you know,
Yeah, I thought
uh,
about doing something like
like
that.
a
Like it's
weekly, monthly something.
I just, it's nice to see people's like reaction because, like, for instance, I did three variations of Claire Redfield while playing Claire Redfield, and people were like, "Holy shit, it's Claire playing Claire! What is this?" And like, it feels
Yeah,
good, like
dude.
see people's reaction. Holy cow, like it looks nice and stuff like that, and
It's
so
fun to see
it's
people celebrate their favorite games in that way.
mhm,
So
for
I
sure.
did want to go back for a second and ask, how did the name of Adam come about? Was that something
Oh
that has the backstory, or did it just
no,
pop up?
it has a slight backstory. So my moderators, I freaking adore them. They see like anything that I'm gonna be doing well before my stream does, like community, like whether it's emote designs, like sketches, you name it, any plans, what have you. And so I remember sending them like a preview picture, like a couple days before I posted it anywhere. I'm like, hey guys, how's this look? Because it's just like I ask them, like like does this look like somewhat authentic? Like trying my best to make like a fake beard look good on me. I'm like, I don't really know what I'm doing. I just know to like make sure it's clean and somewhat clean.
Yeah,
And
trim it up.
like you like like I'm like, what would we call this? Like you're an Adam now. Like we're just gonna start calling you Adam. It starts with an A. It works. So I'm just like, all right, this is fine.
Why does that make it work?
So I don't know. It's just like that's what they started calling me. Like your male cosplays no Adam, and it even became like to the point where people would say like Adam. Like it was just like, oh my god,
Like
stop.
Madam.
Pretty much.
I don't know. It looks more like a Kyle to me.
Like Kyle,
Well,
Yeah.
somebody brought it up
respect
in
that.
chat, and because of last year, I just think of Chad. It's always the
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you are
stereotypical.
actually such a Chad
Yeah.
in this picture. What a stud. Dang.
So it's not knowing much about like cosplaying and the community around it. Is there like a lot of talk between cosplayers? Do you
Yeah.
find yourself reaching
I
out to other
actually
people? Like, oh, how did you do this? Or do you want to somehow collaborate? I don't.
It's actually how I recently met one of my stream team members. Actually, I didn't know like she joined we've joined up around the same time, the Entitled Elite, but Cauliflower. We knew of each other because of the Dead by Daylight community, but like, we never like, spoke. Like not because like
Mhm.
there's like bad blood. It's just like we just happened to just never speak. And like apparently like she caught like she like saw my Huntress cosplay and she's like, holy shit, that looks really good. Like, I need to message her sometime. And bless my community members that were actually in her chat, like, they all answered, like, her questions and everything, like, it was just like I was sitting, like, looking at her VOD, I'm like, "You guys are the real MVPs," like, answering her questions about everything, like, holy shit. And, ended up reaching out to her like, "Hey, I received a couple DMs. I also saw, like, your VOD and stuff about, like, the cosplay. If you, like, need any help with, like, that sort of stuff, you
Mhm.
name it, what have you, just let me know." And, yeah, so, like, we've been going like, so we constantly talk back and forth about cosplays among other things as well, so it's something, like, introduced me to, like, a lot of people that are working on that sort of stuff, like costumes, whether it's for plays, for cons, you name it. And it's always interesting. Every now and then I do get a DM like, "Hey, Bitty, how would you, like, go about making something like this, like, look grungy or, like, realistic, like, blood or something?" And, it's like it's really interesting how you can go about making stuff look authentic without it, like, actually being, like, real dirt or fortunately real blood and stuff like that. Um,
It's the only way to do
because
it.
for instance, my, little sister's syringe, it's actually Kool-Aid, cornstarch, and, fake blood all mixed in there, and so that's it actually coats, like, the glass in the inside of it like blood would, and kinda gets, like, a little bit congealed until you shake it up, and then it goes back to, like, kinda, like, liquidy, but,
Mm.
like, just, like, it's, like, the perfect
The
texture, like, consistency
viscosity
of
of
blood.
blood. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. Like,
Mhm,
I love like thinking about stuff like that and seeing behind the scenes stuff of
mhm.
like even TV shows and movies. Like, how did they do this? Or like Foley sound, even just like you break a bunch of celery for like bones breaking,
Yeah,
like
it's
sound
really
and visuals.
interesting.
There's so many tricks. They're so like fun to learn about.
I'm gonna be that guy and nitpick something real quick. Since we talked
Wow.
about Bioshock, it's actually not blood
Sure.
in the syringes; it's just Adam, which is a
Well,
little
yeah.
different. But it's like
If I
it's a
might
very
in the
technical
future
nitpick.
actually
But
want to modify the thing to actually, if I'm able to, I obviously like you have to work around this. I actually want to make it so it can glow.
ooh,
Obviously it's not blood, but I want to make it glow like Adam does in the game. So that's something
mhm.
I'm hoping to tweak in the future. Um,
You should get
it's gonna be
a
a while.
slug that you can squish,
Wow.
have it come
I
out of.
actually probably could make something like that. Be interesting to do.
How'd you do the big cut on your Freddy face?
That is with scar wax and also a little bit of using just regular like cotton buds that you use like take off makeup, what have you, just tearing it up. You can also use toilet paper very, very well. Toilet paper, and you can even use like just safer skin glue like you use like for arts and crafts
Huh.
to like make that sort of stuff, and then just kind of layer it up, paint over it. Use spirit gum. Spirit gum is an adhesive that's safe for the skin that you can use for FX makeup as well. Put it on there, sticks really well. It comes off fairly easily. Just be careful if you put it on hair because it may tug on it. But
Hmm.
yeah, that's pretty much what I did with that.
You could have just cut your cheek open. It would have been faster
Yeah,
and more realistic.
I've done a lot of gore makeup in the past, so I
Oh,
used when
okay.
people look like zombies and everything, like with, like wounds that look actually real to the point where people are like concerned, like, "Oh my god, did you actually cut yourself? What's wrong?" Like it's like it's fake. Don't panic.
Not
Um,
this time. No.
Pretty much. I know. Remember when I actually did a Meg Thomas cosplay. There's procedures that you can get in Dead by Daylight, so you can get up to prestige 3 where you get like actually like a bloody face pretty much of your character. And I was never excited to do that on stream before. I actually had to make sure that I like double checked with Twitch. I'm like, I know I'm gonna look like I actually hurt myself, but I swear I didn't. Um
That's what I
so
tell them
little
too.
stuff like that. So it's like I know like they don't like usually love it. So I'm like, hey, so this is what I'm doing. I just wanna cover it just in case.
So have there been any cosplays that you've want to have done, but like you feel like it's either too far, or you just couldn't pull it off,
Um
or has
I
that just
feel
not been an
like
issue?
I feel like any cosplay where like the character is like really tall, I'm really scared to like try to do because I'm very short. So I try to like stick around like cosplays that are like 5'5" and below.
Okay.
That way, like, I can make it look pretty accurate. Because like the cosplay I did do, which is like for Chibi Huntress. Like Huntress is actually like 6'8" in the game.
Oh
She's like
wow.
the tallest, one of the tallest killers in the game. And here's me at 4'11", just like, hey, I'm gonna try to do this cosplay. Luckily, it worked out, but I tried to avoid any cosplays that are just or they had to be really tall for it to like just put because like the main reason is like you can only do so many details when you're short. You can't do as much as you would if you're like taller, bigger, what have you, because you can put more details into things. It's a bit more difficult, I feel, when you're shorter and smaller.
It's actually not something I would have ever even thought about.
Mhm.
Just like little aspects like that when you figure out when you just do it yourself.
It's definitely interesting. I actually have had people like, when are you gonna like, stream this sort of stuff? I'm like, well, here's the thing. I do all my cosplays on the floor. I just put a sheet down and I'm sitting on the floor the entire time, painting everything painstakingly for a couple hours.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And usually after like, I'm done doing all that stuff, even whenever I do like my body paint or anything, like my huntress makeup alone takes me almost 3 hours to do. Because I do all the body makeup from my ears to my neck to my face to my hands, my arms, my feet, my legs.
Makeup takes a long
Whatever
time.
has to like, be covered up and look real, I do it. Cause I know it's like really like random, but like it was like a compliment. Like people like, holy shit, she even did her feet like hers in the game. Like what the fuck?
Yeah, dude, that's dedication. Holy moly.
Yeah,
Yeah, full body or like full cosplay makeup takes such a long time. Like
it
a
really
buddy of
does.
mine, a real life buddy of mine, he was actually one of the Predators or the Predator for the most recent Predator movie. He's like this
Mhm.
tall dude who does parkour, and he was the actual Predator. And he
Wow.
was snapping on Instagram a whole bunch of times when he was getting makeup or like taking pictures with people on the set. And he was like, "Yep, spent 9 hours in the makeup chair today. Time to go jump around and move." And I was like, "That sounds awful.
Yeah.
Holy moly!"
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
how
I
could
also
you?
just want to be careful with how I did my makeup too, because I did my
Yeah.
under mask makeup as well to look. Because they luckily released a image of like what the Huntress looked like without her mask. Because they were like, "What the
Uh,
fuck does she look like without the mask?" And we
so you
finally got
did
to see
with
an
and
image of
without.
her. And the main reason I'm really glad I did because like having a mask that close to your face and obviously you're breathing, you're talking,
It's gonna
hot air
get hot
shoving
and
upward, it's like
mirroring
so like
everywhere.
no, my lower half, like my chest down was not hot. It's just my face was getting warm. So luckily I had like, a way to like you still look like I was in cosplay without having the mask on.
Nice. That's that attention to detail.
Yes.
I
That's
actually just found.
I
Go
was gonna
ahead.
say that's probably why I couldn't get into cosplay because it's like my attention to detail. It's like I would literally spend days trying to get like one
You would
thing right,
never
and it's just
finish.
like okay, it's just not worth it in the end. There's no way I could be like, well, I'll just kind of shortcut it here, or, try to cover it up. It's
Mm-hmm.
before it's like I would realize that it's like, oh, it's not perfect, so I'm gonna just focus on that alone. When a lot of people don't care, but when they notice, like, oh, that's dedication. That's really cool. You go above
Mhm.
and beyond. So
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the response I got for like the Huntress, even Claire Redfield, and so on, was just like this makes it worth doing. Like I'm just happy, like I'm bringing characters to life that people I really wanted to see. Like what would they look like in real life if they were. And so, like, just seeing everyone's reaction, them being happy, what have you, is really awesome to me.
I've been looking at some Resident Evil mods while we were kind of talking, and there's a nice first person mod that you could
mm,
try,
Hmm,
Bitty, if you want to
that would
get
be
more
interesting.
scared. It just seems more nerve wracking, honestly, because you don't have
Yes.
that third person view around corners at all. There's also a mod for replacing whenever Mr. X gets near you, it just puts in the DMX song.
That's
yeah.
actually
So it gets
fantastic,
louder as it
considering
gets closer to you.
Am I the
I've
only one
DMX
done
gonna
that's
Scoop so
already
many
sick
times.
of that whole Mr. X gonna give it to you meme?
No,
I'm done with it.
nope, nope.
I'm
It'll be
tired of
good
seeing it.
forever. Nope,
I've just accepted that it's at this
it's
point.
canon.
I mean, sure, it's just I didn't find it that funny when it started. And it's like it's gotten so much worse. It's like
Yeah.
I'm
I
done
think
with
it's
it.
just because people in chats, that's just the first thing people say, like all of
Yeah.
them. I'm like, yeah, it's funny, but now everyone's saying it.
But yeah, I think we mentioned it when Kat was on, but there's some mods that you can replace whichever person you're playing with other characters. You know, you can have you can play through as Ada. I think the truck driver guy is now in the game. You can replace
Ooh,
Leon with him.
Nice.
There's a whole bunch
Tofu?
of stuff being done. I mean, you can
Mr.
play as
Tofu?
Tofu, but I don't know if you can play through like Leon's thing as Tofu or not. And then there's some Resident Evil 8 news that kind of was rumored, along with maybe Resident Evil 3 remake in the works. I kind of forget all the things they've said, but it'd be like a third person instead of first person like Resident Evil 7 was. I'll have to try to find all that, but I don't know if you guys saw that
That'd be really
news.
interesting. I'm kind of hoping that they make like a Resident Evil 8 and then go for remake, like give us a new game and then do a remake, give us a new game, then maybe like another remake. That would be really
It's
cool to me.
pretty nice pacing. Resident Evil's
Yeah.
just usually they've been killing it the past few years, which is
Oh
pretty
yeah.
nice to see. Like, especially for a series I've never really been invested in, and now I'm just kind of like while I was working today, I was just on YouTube watching a playthrough of Resident Evil 1 and then the remake after that. And I was just like, you know what, I've never actually like seen any of this. Is really like neat, like catching up on this lore and this gameplay I've never really looked at. I like that they're remaking it.
I was too scared to play it as a kid, so I'm
Really?
kind of glad I'm playing it now.
Man, I never had a PlayStation 1 when I was a kid, so I just missed out on like all sorts of stuff. But like I was too scared to play like I said, FF7 I couldn't play some parts of, so I was a little scared to get.
I found the thing. So it's Resident Evil 8 started development by a small team last year, and it will be released after the RE3 remake is out. This is kind of what it sums up. Hallucinations will play a big part, getting players confused on what's real or not. Third person based on the reception of RE2. So and they have no interest in remaking 4, 5, or 6 at the current time. This is what the rumor / leak was kind of hinting
I
at.
think
So
just a remastered version of 4 would be good enough. Just updated textures and stuff. It still runs pretty solid, and I feel like 5 and 6 are still too new to do a remake or anything of. If anything, just give them maybe like a texture update, and it might be good enough for now.
I would
From
like
what I've heard,
4
there's-
without the tank controls. If they can make it
Yeah,
more like the RE2 remake controls, I would prefer to
Yeah.
play through that. That's why I haven't played through the old ones so far. It's just I can't deal with
yeah.
tank controls.
I
It's just,
played the remastered version of RE1, and I played it with a mouse and keyboard.
mhm.
Oh
I'm
my
pretty
god.
sure I at least said over 50 times, I really wish I had a controller right now to
God
play
damn. Yeah,
this.
tank controls with keyboard. Oh
Oh,
god.
I made it work, but it was
Yeah,
mm,
of necessity.
it was painful.
Yeah. That's I really want to play RE4, but yeah, like I heard there was like no good mouse and keyboard version of that game
No.
without like some janky setup. So I was like, I don't know. Not the biggest fan of tank controls, but I really want to play it because everyone says RE4 is like the best one. Some people say
It's,
RE2 is the best one, but yeah.
I've seen it as a speed run. I've never seen it played like casually, but it's pretty interesting to watch.
Yeah, it
Definitely very
seems
interesting
spooky.
to watch. Mm-hmm.
So this is kind of a leading question, but speedrun's been brought up multiple times throughout this podcast now, and both Saint and myself are speedrunners. And you hang around a lot of speedrunner communities and chats. Is that something you're interested in and or have plans are in the future to do?
So I, originally got into watching speedrunners originally because of HGDQ and SGDQ, like God, over 4 years ago. So it was always something I've just been interested in and watching, especially because, they support such incredible causes. It's just incredible to see gamers doing really, really awesome things. Like speedrunning is no joke. And I've seen the practice in the background, how much time, effort, everything that goes into speedrunning. So I think that's why I have such a profound respect for it. as for like being interested in it, I would love to play like Bioshock Burns as like a speed run, and I bet a lot of people like, when are you gonna do Subnautica as a speed run? I'm like, when my file isn't broken, we'll get to there. Because my file, my game, I call it jokingly Bugnautica. Like I love the game so much, but I call it Bugnautica because I experience way too many bugs in the game. So once I can maybe like get like a time where my game's just like, all right, we're gonna be cool. Like we're not gonna, break. I actually had that happen the other night where um the ship that you crashed in, the Aurora, I could see everything inside of it. It just became a skeleton.
It's
There
yeah,
was
the
no
walls didn't
fire.
show
There
up.
was nothing. I was just like,
Good.
okay.
That's nice.
It's
Is
like
this
I
intended or
nope.
what's going on?
You can do that on purpose. Was like my intention was just to go here to do what you got to do in the ship, and well, that is not happening.
Well,
So yeah, Bioshock and Subnautica definitely would be interested in learning how to speedrun one day. Um,
so the
especially
speedrun
just cool.
so the speedrun leaderboards, I was just looking it up, Subnautica below 0. There's a category called send sample percent survival 15
Wow.
minutes. What is even that category? What does that mean? Do you
I
know?
guess just so in below
Send
0,
sample, is that
you
the
would have
final
to
objective?
send a sample. Yeah, so that's where you're forced to stop in the game. It's like you can't do it. Like you could keep playing, but like that's the last story you can to do right now is sending a genetic
Okay.
sample up to this your sister in the space station that's like rotating around above you. That's about it though.
Okay.
So I guess
Send.
it's just like people are already starting that sort of stuff, which is
Mhm.
interesting.
I hate that category name. I'm just throwing it out there. Send sample
okay.
percent.
Well, the leaderboards are
Oh.
probably a little bit better than the RE2 ones at the moment. 'Cause
Resident
they've
Evil
been a
leaderboards,
disaster for a
yes.
bit, but it seems like they're kind of calming down. I'm not gonna touch too much on that, but Resident Evil community leaderboards have always been a nightmare for speedruns, and this one's been no different.
There's just so many variations of what you could do, and
Yeah, you got different characters,
got
different difficulties, routes.
difficulties.
And people want to do like knife only or no damage and no glitches.
Console versus PC,
yeah,
frame rate.
all that good stuff.
There's so many things. But that's fine.
So I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Bittie didn't watch the Super Bowl.
I did not.
I feel like Saint
Wow.
might have.
I
Parts
did.
of.
I went over to my buddies. I watch every Super Bowl.
I usually just make like the snacks and food for the Super Bowl, and then I go back
The
to my
important part.
room.
Oh, okay.
That's about it.
And just eat the food instead.
Yep,
That's a
pretty
great
much.
plan.
You make a bunch of snacks and get some pizza. You're like, all right, I'm gonna be in my room with all this. You
Yeah,
guys have
pretty
fun.
much. That's all I really do. I don't really watch many sports like at all. This only sport like I do watch maybe is like hockey and like esports, and that's about it.
Hmm.
Hockey's a good watch.
It was not a good Super Bowl at all. I used to watch some football. I was a Falcons fan, being from Georgia, but
Mhm.
I kind of don't really care about it too much anymore. But whenever the Super Bowl comes up or the playoffs, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll watch it. And I watched it at my friend's place. He's like a few doors down, and that was the most boring Super Bowl I've ever seen. Yeah, it was 3-0 at halftime. Nothing was happening. The kickers were like the highlight players because they were punting so much, which just means nobody was scoring.
Mhm.
I think I heard the kickers' names more than Tom Brady's name.
Oh
But
wow.
yeah, it was kind of meh. And then I went home. And there was the Big Lebowski teaser that was on Twitter was a goddamn beer commercial.
Yeah,
was like
I
a
was just
Bud
about to
Light
ask you,
commercial.
was there any standout commercials or trailers?
No.
So Avengers,
well-
Avengers popped up, Hobbs and Shaw, just the Fast and
Yeah,
Furious
there was-
popped up. I kind of caught those after the fact, but I was doing my 36-hour stream during this. So I didn't get a chance to like watch or see what was going on. And I kind of heard things, the halftime show being a disappointment to all the SpongeBob fans.
Yeah.
Shout outs to them for being.
Oh yeah, everyone got
salty.
mad because it was like shorter than they wanted, but like
Yeah.
the fact that they put it in at all was like kind of neat. Good homage.
It was
to,
one of those things where Maroon 5 just kind of like came out and said, "Oh, we're doing this," and kind of teased it, and then to do so little with it. It's just kind of like threw it back in their face. Like, yeah, we played like a 5-second clip. There you go.
Oh, how dare they?
When they made a big promotion.
Only
But,
play 5 seconds.
it's one of those things I want to watch just to see. It's like either that whole community is gonna absolutely love this and it's gonna become the biggest thing in the world, or it's gonna be a disappointment and they're all gonna throw a hissy fit, which there was the latter.
So I watched the whole halftime show, and from what I saw, like it was a good enough like little homage. Like the halftime show was not even that long. It was probably like 10 minutes or less. And like even the big artists, like Big Boy came out, he was playing with Maroon 5, and I think Travis Scott came out. Like everyone who came out only sang like a few verses and then dipped. So even
Yeah.
they kicked it all off with the SpongeBob thing, which I thought was pretty cool. I didn't think it was like offensive or anything. I don't know. People are dumb, basically.
Yeah.
But there was one thing I was legitimately excited about. This series called Our Planet was announced, or there was like a new season of Our Planet on Netflix, which looks like a Planet Earth type dealio. And I like anything Planet Earth related. Just nice to put on and
Yeah.
look at animals in the highest possible definition. So I saw that and I was like, I'll watch that. And that was it. But no, it was meh. Super Bowl. I would rather have been playing video games. But I was
Same though.
also I was also hanging out with my buddy, so I was like, we just made fun of the game.
Yeah. It's I was just like watching my Twitter threading. I was like certain things, and then like a trailer would pop up and rise to the top, and then like halftime was like Adam Levine's boring and Maroon 5 is bland, like rising up. I was like, oh, okay, I guess that's kind of weird. And then I at that point was too tired to care. I was like, oh, let's catch up, and then that's kind of the gist. Is not too exciting, and Maroon 5 is bland.
You didn't miss anything.
Which is, you know, I guess that's a Super Bowl for you.
Yeah, and the Patriots won, so nobody was happy, except for Patriots fans.
Yeah, and they're never happy.
Yeah, but yeah.
Well, that's all the news I got. And if you have any more questions, or if Bittie, if you have any topics you want to bring up, anything you're looking forward to, any big stuff.
But...
Got any big streaming plans? I know you got some subathon ideas in the works.
Yeah, mostly just I have 2 24-hour streams I gotta crank out eventually here soon. So eventually just figuring out what I want to play during those, just so like, because like one thing I've learned is just like, especially like as like a nurse and everything, which I'm sure you know as well, BT, like I think you said this during your stream, like having a schedule already figured out what you're gonna play and just keep playing so like you don't like start getting tired. It's like as long as you just have like a plan and you stick to the plan, you'll probably get through a 24-hour stream like without much issue. So I just gotta like figure out when I want to do that sort of stuff, what I want to play. It will most likely be a lot of horror games because they'll keep me awake, or I might use my community
just getting scared constantly.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, just I feel like it works best for me because it just keeps me awake. Because my last 24-hour stream, I actually played Evil Within, and then I did Dead by Daylight afterwards. But it's like I feel like if I played a game like it's super lengthy and long, like Alien Isolation took me almost 18 hours straight
Oh wow.
just to finish. Not because like it was hard. It's just like I was too scared and I was like crying a lot about it.
Scary game.
Which is actually the game I broke my mouse with.
Oh.
Rest in peace, that poor mouse. I can't even remember what I did, but like it became like a thing, unfortunately, at the point where it's like there'd be at least one time during a horror game I would fling my mouse. Not even on purpose. It's just like I got so scared that I just like let everything go. I'm just like, get it away from me. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna be sketching those out soon. Probably just some more horror games. I know I would like to play Amnesia: The Dark Descent, as well as like Fear 2, Dead Space 2. I want to replay Until Dawn again because I made the really dumb mistake of like I didn't play a PlayStation for 10 years, and I decided to play a game that has a lot of QuickTime events. Imagine how that went. The only thing that
Wait, you
mattered
don't
was the dog lived, and that's all I cared about. I actually, like, went into such focus mode during that part of the game because I was dead
you
set
gotta
on
save that
making
goddamn
sure
dog.
the dog lived. I was, like, just so nervous, like, I did not care about anything else. The dog was the only thing that mattered, and so I'd like to go back, replay it, not panic as much,
Mhm.
and just be a little bit more acquainted with using a controller because I'm not great with them.
So is it just like the quick time prompts? It's not reaction time, it's
Yeah.
just so much seeing it and then, like, not having that
Yeah, not
connection to where
knowing
it's
where
like
the button is.
yeah,
Like, I would have to hold I felt, like,
gotta look
so
down.
droopy. I was holding my controller up near my face. I'm just like, "I don't know what I'm doing. This is fine."
Where's the A button? I can't
That's just
find the A
like
button.
Oh, it was so
yeah.
bad.
It's like switching from Xbox to PlayStation. It's just like you're
Mhm.
pressing X. Oh, that's not where it's supposed to
I
be. Okay.
I will never understand why the X button is in a different spot for the Switch, Xbox, and PlayStation. It's on a different key, like little area for each
Yeah.
one. And it's just like, why can't it just be in the same spot? Why
Nintendo's
can't
always been
y'all
like
just
that.
agree?
Like A is on the right and B is on the bottom. I'm just like, this is all wrong. God damn it.
So you
Yeah.
did bring up
Gotta be
Amnesia. Have you played Amnesia before? Or
No.
oh, you're ready
Like a
for a good time
completely
then.
blind
Mm,
playthrough. I just know the
that's a
only
good
thing I
game.
know is that there's water monsters and you have to throw books. That's the only thing I know about
That's
that
the
game.
game in a nutshell. You got it. That's all you need to know. You're armed and
I just
ready.
know like the puzzles are probably what are gonna get me because those are like my Achilles heel. Puzzles and me, I struggle with them.
You'll probably do fine with the puzzles in that game.
There's like one puzzle that always got me playing casually, like near the end. I don't even remember what it is, but if I got to it, I was like, every other puzzle, I could figure out, I could do. It's like that one
Mhm.
puzzle is like, I have zero idea. It's like one I actually had to look up, which to this day annoys me. But yeah, it's like kind of a pinnacle of horror games. So if you haven't played it, you're in for a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely looking forward to.
If you go to play A Machine for Pigs, just know that it's made by a different company,
Mhm.
and it's not quite the same, which a lot of people
That's
go
how a
into
lot of
it like, oh, this is
people
gonna be like
say.
The Dark Descent, and it's like, well, it's a different company, so it's a little different, and they get disappointed and sad, but it's still good.
No,
Just
Gotcha.
I
not
haven't played that one.
quite the same. Still creepy. Get creepy.
I know
Dark
there's only
Descent.
like one puzzle I actually had to have help on in Resident Evil Remastered, which I had the fortunate luxury of having Maxi Lopes like in my chat room helping me because like I'm pretty sure he like was freaking out, like yelling at his screen like you're doing this wrong, like at least 20 times. So like I'm not gonna tell
No,
you what you're doing wrong, being patient, but um
I'm sure he was
there was
completely
one
right.
puzzle, he just told me flat out what to do. He's like, "I'm sure you could figure it out in like 5 hours, but no one gets this puzzle." It's like, it's not to insult your intelligence. It's just it's such a shitty puzzle that you're
I've
gonna
already
have to
two
either
remake.
look it up or you're gonna have to have help with
The
it.
RE1 remake, same.
Yeah, the
Oh,
RE1 remake.
gotcha.
It's like a statue room and it's like a very specific order, but it's like I looked everywhere and I couldn't
Is,
find a clue. I couldn't figure it out. I looked at the
is
walls. I
it the one
looked at everything.
with the card suits or whatever?
I wanna say it's, like, with the night-looking statues, you get to move them like, a certain order, there's 4 of them.
Okay,
You have to
I
move
think
them
that
a
is that
certain
room.
way,
Yeah, that one
and
was weird.
I remember, like, just, like, sitting like, I remember just, like, tilting in my head, like, looking through, I'm like, "What? I don't have any notes about this room, I don't have anything, and all the rooms are, like, cleared, what the fuck?" And
Yeah, I think that puzzle specifically is like the suits of cards are on the wall and
mhm.
something that has to do with it, but you have to know like which suits of cards are better than the others, which I didn't even know
Yeah,
was like a thing.
I
But
don't
that's
play
like
any card
implied
games and
knowledge.
stuff, so it's just like,
I don't know.
it's like the
That might
same
be
thing
it.
with the chess, there's, there's, like, so many puzzles, like, oh, man, I don't play cards, I don't play chess, I don't do like, nothing wrong with anything that, like, people do, I just never played them growing up, so, like,
Yeah.
when puzzles, like, have that sort of stuff, I'm like, "Okay, listen, like, I don't know this."
Have you ever done an escape room?
No, but I feel like I would have, like, a panic attack doing one
No,
because
no,
I
no,
don't
no,
handle
no.
stuff like that too well.
You can leave at any time. It's fine.
That's
But
what
it
they
is
tell
all
you.
just puzzles. Yeah, well, I've worked in an escape room. You can leave whenever you want.
I'm
You
gonna
can
just sit
leave
down
when
and
you
cry,
cry.
like, can you come get me?
They give you clues.
That's
Yeah.
So
good.
even if you're stuck on a puzzle, it'll be like, all right, look over there, you dummy. It's the
Yeah, and
answer's
then
on
you
that
feel real
paper.
dumb. You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
there's
you're like,
been a
oh, I
couple
should have taken.
times where I've done that. I'm like, are you shitting me? Like, I just
Yeah,
overlooked that. Are
exactly.
you serious? Because like that's one of my biggest things. Like when I get too scared, I kind of like look past details which are really important. So like I had to get like better about like, just taking the time to actually look at the details because 9
hmm
times out of 10 you're going to miss something.
Yeah.
I actually feel Resident Evil puzzles are really close to like kind of average level escape room puzzles. So that's why I brought that
Mhm.
up. I was like, these are like escape room type things going on in this game. Just
I
kind
have
of
to say
interesting.
some of the hardest game puzzles I've ever seen are probably the Silent Hill series. I personally haven't played Silent Hill myself, but whenever I've seen like a casual playthrough of it, some of the puzzles that that game has are very, very intricate and very, very difficult that if you aren't experienced with the game, you're probably
hmm
going to get stuck for a while.
I've actually never beat a Silent Hill game, and I think it's because I've gotten hooked on some puzzle or something. I was like, I don't know where
Hmm.
to go or what to do or what's going on, so I don't care.
Yeah, I try to not get too discouraged with puzzles. It's like either it's like I'll
Yeah,
come back and give it a minute, so I don't get frustrated. But like, oh man,
persevere.
yes. I
Yeah.
feel like the current kryptonite is the stupid safe box puzzles where you have to like memorize where all the buttons are. I'm like, I don't fucking know this order, so we're gonna sit here and like boop 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 boop. Okay, we're
Yeah, those
getting it
puzzles are
slowly.
really silly. I'm like, so there's no like thought to this. I just need to keep doing it until I get it, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
whatever.
guess there's certain
Brute
like the
force it.
buttons never change apparently. It's just like I never memorize it and just kind of
Yeah,
like fuck it.
brute force it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's one of those things where when you stream it, it also just kind of makes things like significantly worse because you're like, oh god,
Uh-huh.
everyone in chat's figured it out. And they want to tell me so bad. It's like I gotta
Yep.
figure it out. I'm under pressure. Ah, and then it's
And
like,
then you're just like, all right, listen, guys, I'm sorry that this is taking a while. Just
Please
patience,
be patient with me.
please.
yeah,
I'm only 112. Please be patient.
Yeah, so I'm a little slow.
yeah. Because there's
Sorry.
been many
Wow.
times where I'll stream a puzzle game. I'm just like, I know people in chat have figured it out, and I don't want them to tell me. And then I miss some little detail because I'm just thinking like, please, nobody say anything. Don't say anything. Don't say anything. It's like, oh well, if I had paid attention, I would have seen this small detail like 5 minutes ago. And
Mhm.
it's like, oh,
That
now I
happens
feel
to me
dumb.
during our training.
So there you
Well,
go.
on
Oh man.
that note, do we want to close it out here?
Yeah.
Do we want to touch on what we're gonna do, BT? What are you up to?
Basically just recovering at this point from being sick
Oh,
in my
sure.
stream. Unfortunately, I still have a 48-hour stream to plan out in the future. Well, I'm taking a couple months off before that.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Man.
they're a task. Bittie, you said you have two 24-hour streams coming up. You should just combine them.
Yes.
Just do them back to back. Just knock it out.
Both at
Oh
the same time.
god.
Yeah, it'll be good. But I guess I'm gonna be playing through Subnautica here soon, so we'll see how that goes, and I'll keep Bittie
I will
updated.
be sure to be there because I am so excited to see your first reaction to some things in the game. I won't say
Yeah.
what, but
Like
I'm very much looking forward to it.
I have seen you play, so I know like a couple areas kind of vaguely, and some of the
Mhm.
monsters to a degree, but it's like experiencing those firsthand is completely different. So I'm excited for it.
Because like I feel like when you actually get into the game as well, like you probably like you'll be like, oh, I kind of vaguely know this area, but then you're like, I actually don't know where the fuck I am. How do
Mhm.
I get home?
Yeah.
You know?
So
So it's gonna be very interesting.
Word.
and I'd love to play on VR, but I don't have a VR headset or anything. So
Oh my god.
That just sounds awful.
I mean, it'd be
Well,
okay.
like cool, but like horrifying.
I would get motion sickness, I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah, moving around while looking around
Mm-hmm.
in the ocean. Yeah.
And I feel like I would break something too. Like,
Your mouse.
like my mouse is gonna get thrown. I feel like I'd
Mhm.
like end up flailing if something attacks me and I'm gonna knock something over and I'm like, all right, well, this is my end.
It just
Better
sets
not
it up
break
for
your
one of those classic stream moments where someone comes in your room to tell you something, and you just like hit them, and it's like break their wrist or something.
Yeah. That's a big no-no.
What are you going to be up to, Saint? More RE2 stuff on your stream?
Yeah, I would like to finish RE2 this week, pretty soon. I need to
Believe in you.
stop playing. Huh?
I said I believe in you.
Yeah, I can do it. You know,
I don't want to spoil anything about the game.
No, I already have some knowledge of what the rest of the game is like, but just still playing through it is really great. I
Oh
do
yeah.
have a criticism of that game that actually really infuriated me. There's one point where you put all the medallions in the statue, and then it puts you in the sewers, but it doesn't like ask you or like give you a warning that you're going into the sewers in the basement for a while. And the very next room that I wanted to explore had the shotgun key card. So I went in there with like no ammo for my gun, no shotgun, and like 2 stacks of shotgun shells. So I
Oh
just played through
God.
the sewer in the basement. And I was like, I have all this shotgun ammo. Where's the shotgun? And I was like, I was just so frustrated. And then the moment I got out, I went to that room and I was like, I was about to go here. Here's the shotgun thing. God dang it. But I kept playing, and that game is super fun, especially since like Mr. X, the lickers, and zombies, just that like dynamic of everyone and like making noise is like a risk. It's very tense, and I'm really enjoying it. So gonna finish that. Gonna try to not play as much Minecraft because that's your time just disappears when I'm playing Minecraft. So I need to be careful with that.
It's true though. It really does.
Yeah. And then yeah, that's about it. Just working, and I'm looking into adopting a puppy. So that's my next order of business.
Woo!
Puppy time. Can't wait.
I'm so excited to see the puppy. Oh my
The
gosh.
puppy. I'll
It's
tweet
so
the
cute.
puppy. But yeah, I guess that's gonna wrap it up for
Well-
Blood Saint and Beers.
Well, we got some. Bittie can talk about what she's
What?
going to be up to. I mean, we kind of already
Oh.
covered it, but anything, within the
Oh,
next couple days you're going to be working on? I know you got some
Mostly
RE2.
just hardcore Resident Evil, really. And then
Oh yeah.
after that, I don't know what, but definitely gonna be trying to finish out hardcore for all 4 scenarios. Fingers crossed I can manage that because I'm not really
You'll be
worried about
fine.
the A scenarios. I'm more worried about the B scenarios because I feel like they're supposed to be significantly harder, but yeah, I don't have the routing down at all for the B scenarios. That's why I feel like I'm gonna probably get myself killed a lot trying to do that. So I might have to do some more saves than usual.
Is it harder just by way of not enough ammo or resources or
Um,
something?
resources and like you deal with harder enemies, so like you'll deal with like extra crawlers and stuff like that. Or sorry, not crawlers, lickers, whatever they're
Lickers,
called.
yeah.
The things that crawl and
The
cause a lot
things
of
that hurt a
mayhem.
lot and are just always around the corner at the
Yes.
wrong time.
No, I believe Mr. X
Ah.
is faster and stuff like that. So it's just like
Yes, he's a
things are
little
a
bit
little
faster.
more dangerous.
Hardcore is ridiculously speedy. I was not prepared for
is.
that at all. That was
That's
an
horrifying.
experience.
He's already too fast on regular, in my opinion. But damn. Well, good luck.
Thank you.
I do
Appreciate
believe in you.
You'll make it through. And with that, I believe we will be wrapping up episode 18 of
Whoa.
Blood, Saint, and Beers. Shut up, Saint. You're not getting paid this week either.
What?
If you want to go back and find our older videos, you can check out Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, all that good stuff. They are up on YouTube. They go up on Wednesdays, so this one will be up tomorrow. Check it out then. And thank you, Bittie, for coming on and teaching us about Subnautica
Yes,
and
thank you.
all about you and your cosplays. Hopefully we see Adam here soon.
Yes.
Be
I'll
sure
have
to
Adam on for another episode. Totally different.
Sure, my cam on for that day.
Yep. And yeah, thank you guys for watching and hanging out. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.